person who has Kimberly's iPad, can you hear me?
Yes.
What case are you here for this morning?
For the Abdul Karim Khazar.
Okay, thank you.
Marianne, there's 4 cases scheduled for 9 o'clock. I was gonna say, I haven't seen Ms. Fortier and she just logged on. Wonderful. Ms. Fortier, are you ready?
Judge, I am ready, but I just wanted to give you a heads up. I do have a Third Circuit matter that I could not get rescheduled.
No worries.
So I am currently in that waiting room. It's just a review date. So if Judge Knapp does call it, it will be super quick.
It's fine. If you leave our screen, I'll just assume you've gone to third, but we'll try to get these matters done in the interim, okay?
Absolutely.
This is 210383 SM, State of Michigan versus Randy James Green.
Darian Fortier on behalf of the people, Judge.
Your Honor, Jeffrey Bowditch, 45367, appearing on behalf of MIDC with Mr. Green.
State your name for me, please, Mr. Green.
Randy James Green.
Thank you, sir. This matter is scheduled today for a pretrial. How are we proceeding?
Your Honor, I'm going to need a breakout room with Mr. Green. I don't think Mr. Green and I have ever spoken before.
No, sir.
Marianne will put you into a breakout room. Mr. Green, you'll see an invitation to join Mr. Bowditch at a breakout room, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Bowditch, there isn't currently an offer as Mr. Green does have a felony too. I did speak with,
Mr. Green, you need to join the breakout room 1.
Mr. Robinson, is that your client sitting with you?
It is, Your Honor. Good morning.
Good morning. This is 201089 SM, State of Michigan versus Richard Harry Mason.
morning, Your Honor, Darian Fortier on behalf of the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. For the record, Steve Robinson appearing on behalf of Richard Mason.
Thank you. It appears that the parties were last here on November 10th, 2020, and there is an indication that a live bench trial is to be set. Because of COVID gathering restrictions, this matter was put to be rescheduled and reviewed. So today is scheduled as a pretrial, final pretrial. How are we proceeding today?
Your Honor, we'd like to proceed with the bench trial.
We have a trial date available of July 12th at 10 a.m.
Judge, could you give me 5 seconds just to grab my calendar here?
Yes, sir.
That works for the people, Judge. I'm already at the courthouse at 9.
I'm sorry?
I said that date works for the people. I'm already at the courthouse at 9.
Yes, ma'am.
Judge, that works for me. You said the 12th.
Live bench, yes, sir. Live bench trial on July 12th, 2021 at 10 a.m. Ms. Fortier, how many witnesses do you anticipate?
2.
Mr. Robinson, same question. How many witnesses do you anticipate?
1, Your Honor.
Anything else this morning on behalf of the people?
No, Judge, nothing further.
Present, again is gone. But the one is gone is I mute my,
Wadak, Miss Kezier, you need to
Yes.
mute your phone. You need to mute your phone. Thank you.
Ms. Fortier,
Yes, Judge.
were you still checking? I said, was there anything else on behalf of the people?
Oh, Judge, no, I'm sorry. Nothing further on behalf of the people.
Anything else, Mr. Robinson?
No, Your Honor.
We'll see you on the 12th. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too, Judge.
I don't see. This is 210484, State of Michigan versus Cheyenne Kerr.
Darian Fortier for the people, Judge.
Good morning, Your Honor. Very nice to see you. Attorney Joe Irby appearing on behalf of Ms. Cheyenne Kerr, who is present with this court via Zoom.
Thank you, ma'am.
And Your Honor, P54065.
Thank you. Ms. Kerr,
Yes, Your Honor.
state your name for me, please.
Cheyenne Marie Kerr.
Thank you. This matter is scheduled for pre-trial this morning. How are we proceeding?
Yes, Your Honor, I'd like to enter a plea of not guilty for my client.
There was she was arraigned back on June 11th.
Yes, Judge, that's correct.
Mm-hmm. So you're continuing that plea, and what else are we doing this morning?
We can set it for a preliminary examination.
The misdemeanor.
It would be, the next will be the trial date or final pretrial.
Yes, Judge, I'll take the final pretrial.
I would note this is the first day up, Judge. I don't even have this file back from typing. So I would ask for a decent length adjournment because I would imagine.
I'm
that-
sorry, Ms. Fortier, I have a blower problem in here, so I can barely hear you.
I am requesting a bit of a longer adjournment as this is the first time this file has been up and I don't have the file back from typing yet. So I can't get, I can get paper discovery to Miss Irby as it's already on evidence.com, but I don't even have a physical file.
The 13th or the 27th of July, which is better, Ms. Fortier?
I would ask for the 27th.
Ms. Irby, any objection?
I do have an objection to that, Your Honor. There were some situations that arose in reference to this case, and my client is not in her home. So we need to deal with this case as expeditiously as possible based on circumstances.
And I would note that that is almost every single domestic violence misdemeanor case, Judge. I can only do.
I'm sorry, Ms. Irby, were you done speaking?
No, not quite, Your Honor. As I indicated, there were some situations that took my client out of a home that she owns. We have some PPOs that were in place, and she was given incorrect guidance by the police with her and her children being removed from a home that she owns. I need that situation corrected as expeditiously as possible. I think the 27th is quite too long to deal with this matter.
Ms. Fortier, you don't think you can get discovery in 3 weeks?
Judge, I can get paper discovery, but I guess if it's a final pretrial, that's fine, but I am in no position to hold a bench trial or whatever Ms. Irby decides without a file, so that's fine.
No, ma'am, Ms.
Final
Fortier, I'm
pretrial.
sorry. I was saying final pretrial on the 13th of July. Is that doable for you?
That's fine, Judge.
Final pretrial on July 13th, 2021 at 9:30 a.m. And that will be with Judge Green.
And that's acceptable for the paper discovery in the interim.
I'm sending the paper discovery right now.
Okay, thank you.
I just need from you an email address.
Okay, do you want me to put it in the chat?
It's up to you. I can take it right now.
Okay, it's JD97 MAY,
MAY
yes, at hotmail.com.
JD97 MAY at hotmail.com.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else on behalf of the people?
Nothing on behalf of people, Judge.
Anything else, Ms. Irby?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
We're all set. Ms. Kerr, have a good day. You can log off now.
You too. Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Bowditch, are you ready to proceed with Mr. Green, or did you need more time in the breakout room?
You know, just as I was leaving, Ms. Fortier wanted to address something with me. I missed it. So if I could have a moment with Ms. Fortier, I'd appreciate it.
Judge, or Mr. Bowditch, I could just tell you that what I was trying to say was that there is not currently an offer for Mr. Green, as he does also have a felony, but I am in the process of speaking with his felony defense attorney in regards to a global resolution.
All right.
Back on the record in 210383, Randy Green.
Darian Fortier on behalf of the people again, Judge.
Once again, Your Honor, Jeffrey Bowditch appearing on behalf of Mr. Green. After a brief conversation with Ms. Fortier, I'd like to go back with Mr. Green for a second in a breakout room.
Mary Ann will reset the breakout room for you.
Thank you, Judge.
This is 210455 SM, State of Michigan versus Abdul Karim Kaiser.
Darian Fortier on behalf of the people, Judge.
John Ivanchik on behalf of the defendant, Your Honor.
Thank you. Today is the day and time. So where's your client? I'm sorry.
He's here. He's actually at my office in the other
See
room.
him up in the corner. He's got a blue shirt
I may
on.
have to go help him with Zoom, but other than that, he should be okay.
I think he just needs to unmute himself at this point.
Yeah, and start his video, I think. So,
No, I can see him. He's in a
Oh,
blue
you can?
shirt with suspenders on.
oh, yeah, it looks like he's unmuted.
Thank you. Okay. Would you state your name for me, please, sir?
Kaiser, Abdul Karim Kaiser, Your Honor.
Thank you. Today is the day and time set for the pretrial in this matter. How are we proceeding this morning?
I think, I'm not sure if there's been an offer at this point, Your Honor, or what's going on. My client would, go ahead.
Sorry, there is an offer on this case. If Mr. Kaiser pleads guilty to DV, it would be 12 months probation, batterers counseling, and a psych evaluation with any recommended treatment, plus a no contact order with the complaining witness in this case.
Would that be the diversionary program, or is that just straight up to the charge?
I just need 5 seconds.
Sure.
We could do under 769.
And then who do we talk to about resolving issues with, so we can contact his children? Because there's
So that it's my understanding that the criminal court does not have any jurisdiction over the children, and that a family court matter would be something that would needed to be started.
okay, well, there's a PPO obviously that's been filed at this point by the victim in this case.
That is correct, Judge, and the
okay.
people are wanting, once Mr. Ivanchik is finished, I don't mean to keep cutting you off, to address bond.
Okay. If I may, Your Honor, give us some time. Let me talk to my client, and we'll come back when we're ready, I guess.
You'll come back when you're ready. Okay, Mary Ann will put you into a breakout room.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So my question is, thank you, Mary Ann.
I was just gonna ask real quick, sir, do you want to go in a breakout room even though you are in the same building?
No, I don't need to. I'm just gonna shut my video off and mute myself and do the same with my client. We'll talk, and then once I appear back on, I can, I think it's Mary Ann, is it?
Yes, that's me.
I'll just send you a message on, and we'll go from there.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
So Ms. Fortier, my question is always, has anybody reached out to you between the May 29th arraignment and today to see what the offer was and how to proceed?
No, Judge,
It's a
and
novel approach.
I'm still learning each judge how the best way to do it is, because Judge Oakley has me make him a sheet, usually that I send over on the Monday night before his docket with the pleas. And I'm still learning what judge wants what.
I want whatever you want to do, whatever makes it easier for you to move your docket. I'm not asking you for anything extraordinary or made up. If this works for you, it's fine for me.
Yes, Judge, I can start doing, I guess, for 2 more weeks before I'm gone.
I love how you rub that in, but we'll figure it out. It's fine.
So I don't know. Did you have the pleasure of meeting Larry while you were here?
Larry King?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So he is going to be the at least coordinator of who's covering for me. We don't necessarily have enough people in our office, I think, to have one specific person do my job the whole time. So it's my understanding it's mostly going to be Larry, unless it can't be Larry, and then it will be somebody else. But
I'm sorry to cut you off, ma'am. Let's pick this up at another time because
Okay.
we're on YouTube and I'm seeing the courtroom fill up. We'll go back on the record in 210383 Randy Green. Mr. Bowditch, was that now sufficient time?
Yes, Your Honor. Your Honor,
Okay,
after
and how are we
having,
proceeding?
Your Honor, at this time, we're requesting an in-person bench trial.
Mr. Bowditch, did
A
you?
live?
Final,
Yes, Your
sorry.
Honor.
I'm
In
sorry,
person.
Judge. I just was wondering if Mr. Bowditch wanted to have a final pretrial before we set about the trial.
Your Honor, I've spoken with Mr. Green about the event downtown. I believe that'll eventually go to a trial also. So since there is no deal in this matter, we're requesting an in-person bench trial.
Okay. May I have a minute in a breakout room with Mr. Bowditch?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Mr. Shimke, do you need to talk to your client before your case is called?
No, Judge, we're ready to go.
Thank you.
Okay, Judge, I think after our conversation, maybe Mr. Bowditch wants something else.
Yes, Your Honor. After consulting with Ms. Fortier, I think it would be in everyone's best interest if we scheduled this for a final pretrial with the stipulation the complainant must appear.
Final pretrial is July 13th, enough time?
Yes, Judge, that's good.
Yes, Your Honor.
What time?
9:40. Final pretrial on this matter will be July 13th, 2021 at 9:40 a.m. That's with Judge Green with a notation that the complainant must appear.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Anything else on behalf of the people?
Nothing else, Judge.
Anything else on behalf of Mr. Green?
Yes, Your Honor, if I could go into a breakout room briefly with Mr. Green once again, just to make an
Bless you.
explanation.
But Mr. Bowdish, will you be coming back on the record?
No, ma'am.
Okay, Mary Ann will put you and Mr. Green back into a breakout room.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. This is 210333 SM, State of Michigan versus Philomena Armstrong.
Good morning, Your Honor. Darian Fortier on behalf of the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Christopher Shemke, appearing on behalf of my client. This time, consent to the matter being heard via Zoom.
The complaining
State
witness.
your name for me, please, ma'am.
Philomena Armstrong.
Thank you. This matter was scheduled for a final pretrial today. How are we proceeding?
Your Honor, in this circumstance, we are respectfully requesting one final adjournment to see if we can solidify any agreements. We just got transferred over to this courtroom. I believe me and APA Fortier will have a conversation, and the next court date, we can make a solidified decision on how to proceed.
Judge, I would ask if we do that. I don't have any problem with that. But I would ask, because Mr. Armstrong is here, the complaining witness in this case, that his presence be excused for the next court date.
And no objection to that.
Okay. Is that July 13th date a good date?
Fine for the people.
Judge, I can make that work.
Final pretrial in this matter will be July 13th, 2021 at 9:50 a.m. That's 9:50 a.m. That's with Judge Green. Complainant's appearance is not required. Is that my understanding?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. Anything else on behalf of the people?
Not on the record, Judge.
Anything else on behalf of Ms. Armstrong?
No, Judge.
We're all set in this matter. See you back here on July the 13th. I'm sorry, were you trying to speak, ma'am?
Yes, Judge, I just want to make sure that Mr. Shemke does have the offer.
I believe that it's a plea under recommendation of 769.4A.
Yes, with the condition of 12 months probation, batterers counseling, a psych evaluation, a substance abuse evaluation, and no contact with Mr. Armstrong except in regards to their children.
We do have the offer, yes.
Perfect, thank you. Can I have 30 seconds with Jason Armstrong in a breakout room, please, Judge?
Absolutely.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Shemke.
Have a good day, sir.
You too.
Mary Ann, the question is, how close is too close?
No, I think that's good. That's not good.
Hush. I'm just.
Did you see my chat to you?
I did not see your chat. I don't have my chat open. We already had that conversation. The answer is no.
Okay.
And that's part of the issue of me not being able to hear Ms. Fortier. Good morning, Mr. Bernstein. I see you, but I don't see your client. If he's with you, great. Otherwise, if you want to get him here, I'd appreciate it.
I'll shoot him a text message right now, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mary Ann, we have arraignments this morning. I don't know if anything's scheduled. When I talked to Andy about an hour ago, there was nothing here yet.
I'll check my email.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yep, you're welcome.
Do we have Mr. Garduno?
Garduno?
Yes.
I
Judge.
haven't seen him this morning.
Okay.
Mr. Bernstein came in your absence. I asked him to inquire of his client Cannon. It's not scheduled till 9:30. Mr. Ivanchik? I'm not sure if he and his client are ready yet.
Judge, the case of Mr. Ivanchik does seem to be like maybe it's a little bit complicated, so it might take him a couple minutes.
Okay.
I'm gonna step away for 60 seconds.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, there's Mr. Cannon. Mr. Bernstein? Do you need anything else from me on Mr. Cannon's case?
I don't think so. I think I got it all. I got the link.
Judge,
Ready on Cannon?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. I heard your voice come back. 210307, State of Michigan versus Calvin Jabari Cannon.
Darian Fortier on behalf.
I'm sorry.
Darian Fortier on behalf of Judge. I just am like in a rush so all the time. So Darian Fortier on behalf of the people.
Good morning, Your Honor. Sam Bernstein with and on behalf of Mr. Cannon. Mr. Cannon, can you please start your video? Say your name for the judge.
State your name, please, Mr. Cannon.
Calvin Jabari Cannon.
Thank you, sir. Today is the day and time set for the pretrial in this matter. How are we proceeding?
Your Honor, Mr. Cannon's asking the court to please set this for a jury trial.
Jury trial.
Understanding we're
Mr.
probably
Burns?
back the line.
Mr. Bernstein, we have not started scheduling our jury trials as of yet. What I can do is make a notation in the file that that is the request of your client. And as soon as we start doing that, we'll send you a date.
Makes sense.
Well, another thing we have been doing is if we're not going to be resuming the live jury trial soon, we might set a final pretrial just to get you back in to see if you and Madam Prosecutor have been able to reach a resolution or are relatively close.
Okay, does the court know the time frame for jury trials?
We do not. I know some courts are putting out July and August as possible restarts. We have not gotten that far as of yet.
I can tell you, Mr. Burns.
Anything else on behalf of the people? I'm sorry, Ms.
I just am trying to give everybody a heads up, Judge. If your jury trial happens to fall between the end of July or the end of October, it's not going to be me, okay? I'm going to be on maternity leave. It'll be one of my colleagues standing in for me.
Thank you. Anything
Okay,
else on behalf of Mr. Cannon?
No, Your Honor. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
We're all set. Have a good day. Mr. Cannon, you can log off now.
Who is Miss Wilson?
She
I am
is
here.
the victim and she's the victim in the case that we just completed.
Okay, can I have 30 seconds with her while we're still waiting on Mr. Aventek? Thank you.
Yes,
Mary
ma'am.
Ann.
We're still waiting for Mr. Evanchek to return. You're muted. We're back on the record in 210455. Sir, was that enough time to discuss the matter with your client?
I have, Your Honor. He is declining the plea at this time. And I guess we'd ask.
I'm sorry, I missed the word I missed something that you said.
Sorry, he's declining the plea offer at this time. That's the
Okay.
substance of where we're at. So I'd ask, I guess at this point, for discovery and then a jury trial date.
Mr. Aventek, I'm just curious as to what you're missing.
I don't know. I think that I have the police report. I guess the question I have is, you identified in an email last night that there was a neighbor, but they're not mentioning any of the police reports, and then her identity is unknown, but it looks like this person has relevant testimony.
The neighbor is in regards to this bond hearing and she's here. So.
Okay. Sorry, the police report mentioned that the victim went to the neighbor's house the next day, and I guess I was under the assumption that that was the neighbor we're talking about here.
I suppose it could be, but I'm wondering how any of the testimony or what would be relevant about that.
I don't know. My understanding is that she went and spoke to this neighbor the next day. She being the victim went and spoke to this neighbor the next day. I don't know if that very person has relevant testimony or not, but you are now offering that person up for, I assume it's the same person. Again, I don't know because they're not mentioned anymore.
So the discovery you're requesting is what exactly, sir?
I'm asking for the identity of the neighbor that the victim went to the next morning after this incident occurred before she went to the police station.
Kim,
Yes.
did Wadek go to your house the day after?
No, she didn't go to my house. I mean, I spoke with her.
Okay, so it's Kim.
Okay, all right.
This is the
So
witness that
does
you want.
Kim have a last name?
Kim, can you spell your last name for Mr. Evanchik, please?
It's Piccolo, Piccolo.
Judge, can we take a 3-minute recess?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Okay, Marianne, I'm back. I'm sorry about that.
She's on her way.
Okay, that wasn't 3 minutes.
Judge, I told you it was just a review date. It was very quick. I didn't want to get passed up and stuck in the queue for another 4 hours.
Listen, I understand completely. I love that you have multiple devices going. So now that you have the neighbor's last name, are we scheduling it for a live jury trial? Was that your request, sir?
Yes, Your Honor. I believe that probably be best at this point.
You don't sound sure. Wait a minute. What happened?
Well, I think the issues here are factual, not legal. So my gut feeling would be a jury trial, not a bench trial, Your Honor. And I understand the other reason that I'm unsure is simply because I don't know where things are at in terms of doing jury trials in Wayne County. And I don't think my client really wants this hanging over his head as long as, whenever the jury trial, starts again or starting again. So.
Then that seems to be a contradiction. I thought you said jury trial.
I did, Your Honor.
and you don't want it hanging over his head, but I don't know if you were listening when I told the other defense
was not,
attorney
no.
that we haven't, this 34th District Court has not started scheduling jury trials as of yet. We don't even have a projected start date.
Yeah, which,
You're absolutely right to have a live jury trial, so I'm making a note in the file. It'll go in the pile of files that need to be scheduled for jury trial once we resume. What I can offer you is that if your case sits for a while, and a while, I guess, is open to interpretation, we might schedule you for a final pretrial just to get you back in to see where the parties are. I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but this is the 22nd of June. If we get to be a month out or 6 weeks out, and we're just thinking about scheduling jury trials, we might just have you come back. But that's, you're starting to say?
would it be possible to schedule another or a final pretrial at this juncture, just or a status conference is probably the best way to put it, maybe about 6 weeks out? As a precursor for
Mary?
if it's not possible jury trial?
Well, the furthest day out I have right now is July the 27th with Judge Oakley. If you want more, you want to go further out than that, Mary, I'm gonna have to check to see when the next domestic is after the 27th and with whom.
No, 27th will be fine. That's about 30 days out, I think, or well, a little bit more than that. It's 5 weeks at
A
this.
little bit more than 30.
Yeah. So is
So
that
we
the
can do that. We can set you,
27th, I think? Is that what the court said?
yes, set for a final pretrial.
Okay.
Judge, I would
with
ask,
Judge.
sorry. That date is good. Can finish what you're saying. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, you go ahead, because I will remember.
I just wanted to note my complaining witness is here, so I would ask that for this final pretrial date of July 27th, that she be excused.
Any objection?
I'm not going to object to that, Your Honor.
Thank you.
that
Final
it?
pretrial on July 27th, 2021 at 9 a.m. with Judge Oakley.
Okay.
Complainant not required to appear.
Thank you.
Anything else on behalf of the people?
Yes, Judge, the people would like to make a bond argument.
Okay.
Okay. I did send Mr. Evanchek pretty much all of this information that has some sort of concrete paper support to it. Yesterday, we did talk off the record about the issues that I felt were happening. The complaining witness and a neighbor of the complaining witness have indicated a number of things to me. And Judge, if you are wanting to see the paper that goes with this, I do have the capability of showing you through shared screen. It's been brought to my attention through the complaining witness that and I believe it's some sort of dating app. Mr. Kazir has been speaking with women about travel to different countries. And when Mr. Kazir went back to the marital home to pick up his stuff, he did leave a letter. This letter is partially in Arabic. So this is coming from my complaining witness telling me what the Arabic is saying, but indicating again, Mr. Kazir's plans to travel. There is, and I do have the letter here, Judge, if you wish to see it. There is a police report from June 5th in regards to a PPO violation, which Mr. Evanchek does have, that and on the 5th, Ms. Wadek was getting communication in Arabic. Ms. Kazir, the complaining witness, did indicate that she spoke with her mother and multiple members of Mr. Abdul Karim's Mr. Kazir's family were going to the mother's residence and were telling her that they were going to kill family members in regards to this case. And then the neighbor, who is also here, did indicate to me a text message, which I also have, in regards to items from the Kazir's home that were removed, in regards to guns and stuff that Miss Kazir didn't feel comfortable with having in the home, so she did forfeit. So there are some threats in that text message, and then there's a Facebook post to the neighbor that indicates, I don't think anyone would like someone like Archie's mom. That's what Mr. Kazir does call, according to Kimberly, the neighbor. That's what Mr. Kazir does call her. It says, to intervene and steal and speak on behalf of your family, you need to stop. If you're not helping by buying food, paying other expenses, stay out. Don't act you're helping, instead intervene. Clean your stinky dog. So, I mean, just things like this. There's numerous situations that the complaining witness has informed me of, with different points of contact from either Mr. Kazir or his family members. There is, at this point, I believe, a threat of travel. And the people at this point would ask for a tether.
Your response, sir?
Your Honor, I took a look at the what counsel sent over last night. I wrote a very lengthy email to her concerning a lot of it. The dating app posting, I don't know how to describe it. It looks like it's an email inbox, was dated several weeks before, about a week or two before this alleged incident, and there's no indication that it involves my client. It doesn't identify anybody except for the, I think the person's identified as wifey here one, who seems to be in another country. But other than that, I have no idea who this person is speaking to, because it doesn't identify my client or even the victim or somebody else. You could have simply pulled this off of the internet or what have you. I don't, it could have been the victim. I don't know, because there's no indication that it was my client doing the speaking, or that it's even his account. That was number one. In terms of, this plans for travel. I will say to the court, my client has no plans to travel that I'm aware of. We've discussed extensively.
Wait. Your client has no plans to travel that you are aware of?
Well, as I was going to finish, we've discussed extensively what he can do and what he cannot do while this case is pending. Okay. I've made it clear to him that he cannot travel out of state without the court's permission. So he has no plans to travel. And if the court wants to ask him, because he's here and he's in my office, you're going to get the same response. That being said, this is also a first offense, Your Honor. My client has no prior criminal record whatsoever. He's also a disabled veteran, and really doesn't have any reason to, if he does have a reason to go out of state, which he's indicated he does not at this point in time, he may in the future, and in which case we would bring that to the court's attention and ask permission to leave the state. But he has no plans to leave at this time. In terms of the alleged PPO violation from the police report that was provided to me last night, or yesterday afternoon, I should say, the allegations in there are more or less that my client's family in Iraq allegedly threatened the victim's mother, who's also in Iraq, and their family. And that came from the victim's mother, who's in Iraq, but there's nothing that was communicated to the victim by my client or his family. Notwithstanding, my client doesn't really have much contact with his family because of some of the issues that he's had over the years, namely that he converted from, Islam to Christianity, and the victim is still is still Islamic. The children attend church. The note that the prosecutor is claiming states that my client wants to travel to Chicago also states that it's reminding the the victim here to that one of the children has a church function at a certain date and time at the church that my client attends with his children, which he's been unable to do since he's not been able to get contact with his children due to the no contact order and the PPO in this case. So, I mean, the council's offering up a document that's written mostly in Arabic with a little bit of English, and the only English in there simply states, reminder, you have to take the kids to church at 9 o'clock, or one of the children to church at 9 o'clock for a church event. And by the way, they're supposed to be going to church every week. They go to church here in Canton. They live over in Belleville, right on the north side of Van Buren, and go to church in Canton. The kids attend a Catholic church or a Catholic school up in Plymouth. So I don't really, and there, other than that, and I'm, the text messages, as I indicated to council yesterday, the one text message, it indicates a phone number that's not my client's phone number. And I've had Mr. Kaiser as a client for several years. I went back and looked at all the messages I have, and I've only had one phone number for him. The phone number, I think, if I'm reading it right, came from a 313, and my client's a 734. I can read off the rest of it if it pleases the court for what his phone number is. So, and finally, the other text message to the neighbor, it's simply labeled Tommy, Tommy Wadak. Well, it says Wadak Tommy, actually. So I don't know who that is. Is it because Wadak is the victim and Tommy is the nickname that my client goes by? And this is the one that council read that said, I don't think anyone would like someone like Archie Mom to intervene and steal and speak on behalf, et cetera, et cetera. That could be either one of them, because there's no phone number associated with that. So, I mean, council's asking for a tether on a first offense where there's no indication that my client's done anything that he's not supposed to do at this juncture. And I don't see the need for it at this point in time, without anything further. If there was stronger evidence here, documentary or otherwise, sure. But again, there's nothing here that indicates that any of this stuff came from my client or even pertains to my client. And so I'd ask that that everything remain as is in terms of what the bond is.
Judge, may I respond?
I got one little bit more here. That being said, Your Honor, my client had, he treats at the Veterans Administration over at in Ann Arbor. He's 100% disabled for PTSD, from his service. He has enrolled in anger management classes on his own. I didn't ask him to, didn't tell him to. He also tried to get family counseling started for the family. I explained to him that you can do that, but you're not going to be able to involve the victim because of the court order. So, he's doing things that he feels is right. I don't see a basis for doing a tether at this point.
Madam, your response.
Yes, Judge, I just want to touch on a couple different things. I would indicate that both the complaining witness and the neighbor in question are here. Everyone is more than welcome to speak with both of them. They're both willing to answer your questions. I would also note that in regards to the PPO violation, that Mr. Kazir's no contact order includes both direct and indirect contact. Just because it's not him that's directly contacting the complaining witness's family, that still is indirect contact. And I would also note that part of Mr. Abenchek's argument is that Mr. Kazir is a first-time offender and a tether is unusual in that situation, but that's not true. Usually when we're not in the middle of Corona, a tether is a completely appropriate in a domestic violence situation, whether it be a misdemeanor or a felony, a first-time offense or not. So I do think that there is enough here for a tether. I'm not asking for Mr. Kazir to be remanded. I'm not asking for him to go to jail during the duration of this. I'm asking for, something that I believe will not only protect the victim, but if Mr. Abenchek and Mr. Kazir don't think that my, arguments are valid or enough, could also protect Mr. Kazir in the future from any sort of, false accusation from the complaining witness. So the people would respectfully ask for a tether in this situation. That's it, Judge. Thank you.
the court's listened to both of you this morning. And I made a note in the file that Mr. Kazir is being reminded and has been reminded of his conditions of bond. And those conditions that were set during the out county arraignment were that he have no contact with the complaining victim and not return to the property. And maybe during the arraignment, it wasn't explained to Mr. Kazir what contact means. I will concur with the prosecutor that no contact means no contact, no direct, no social media, no contact through third persons. And while the court is not usually inclined to make someone responsible for what someone else does, when you're saying it's a family member that he doesn't have contact with, but somehow, or doesn't have that much contact with because of whatever the family issue is, somehow somebody from his camp reaches out to somebody from the complaining victim's camp, that makes the court nervous and concerned and want to be super cautious going forward. Saying all that to say, Mr. Kazir, you hear how serious this is. Tether is not extraordinary, but I will take your attorney's arguments on its face that the travel that you talked about was for some function for the children, that you understand that this is a serious matter, that you've heard my admonitions to you today to comply with all of the conditions of your bond, being not to travel except with explicit permission from the court, not to contact Wada Kazir directly, indirectly, through carrier pigeon, wire, Western Union, through your mother, through your aunt, through your cousin, through anybody, through any source, through any mechanism. Don't send messages. Don't make it okay for other people to send any kind of messages or contact. Don't go by the house. Don't contact anyone who is going to reach out to the prosecutor's office and indicate that you violated the terms of your bond. When you're back in front of Judge Oakley on the 27th, if Ms. Fortier or whoever is standing in for her again repeats that you violated or have attempted to violate the conditions of your bond, I don't know that he would be so lenient in terms of his response. That having been said, Mr. Kazir, just nod your head or shake your head. Are we on the same page now? You understand,
sorry.
sir?
I hear you. Yes, 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 Your Honor.
Thank you. Anything else on behalf of the people?
Judge, nothing on the record.
Anything else on behalf of the defendant?
I do have one question, Your Honor. My client, if I recall, does the no contact order does not extend to children? Because I mean, my client's not seen his kids since he's seen them off and on at school, and when I say off and on, once or twice, and he would like to see his children. I had discussed that with the prosecutor, and I thought that we were going to be arranging some pickup and drop off at the police station or something along those lines over Van Buren. But I think she's indicated at the beginning of this hearing that that is not the case now. Working through the victim's advocate.
I would just note that through further investigation and speaking with my supervisors, it's my understanding that the criminal court does not have jurisdiction over the children, and that it would be in everybody's best interest to have a family court matter started.
Okay.
Just based on the amount of communication that myself and Mr. Evanchik have had in regards to this case, that I think maybe doing it through the appropriate legal channel is the best way to do it in this situation.
Okay, that's fine.
Unless, Judge, you know something that I don't know, which is very possible.
I don't know anything. I just repeated what was on the sheet. No contact with the complaining witness and no contact with the address on Brookview.
Yeah.
That's all I see. I don't see
Yeah.
anything else on here.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, at this point, he's just trying to, because it's difficult, obviously, he can't reach out to the child, to the victim here to, arrange a pickup and drop off. And like I said, that was my understanding when talking with counsel here. if I have to go start a DC case or a do a divorce or something like that, I think that's essentially what counsel is saying here. And that just seems a little bit overkill. I guess what we're looking for is simply a way to arrange a pickup and drop off at the police station, I think is what had been discussed, where they don't have contact or it's supervised by the police or whatever it may be, so that my client can at least see his kids. They're, relatively young. He was not able to attend school graduation because of, or I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that. Attending functions for the kids has been difficult because, as I've explained to him, if he sees his, if the victim in this case is there, he's not supposed to be there. So, if there's a church function or something on those lines, he can't go where normally he would be going. So we're just trying to figure out some way so that we can arrange a pickup and drop off. And essentially, I think what counsel is saying is go file a divorce.
I'm not saying, I'm saying there needs to be a parenting order. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I think based on the communication that we've had regarding this case and what appears to me that this case continues to be more complicated, is that it would be in everyone's best interest to have some sort of actual court order so that when we're back here in 3 weeks, we're not fighting over something else that, took place. That is what I'm saying.
Okay. So then there's no way to, okay. So like I said, then I guess we're going to have to file something in the circuit court to sort that out. So
again, the criminal court does not have jurisdiction over.
I'm not saying it did. I'm just following what the advice is. So I think we're all set here, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Can
The
I?
last file I have.
I'm sorry, Judge. Before we do that, may I just have a breakout room with the person marked as Summer and then also Kimberly?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Wadak, you're gonna have to join this breakout room, okay?
Yes, I'm here. I'm hearing you. Do you hear
Okay.
me?
Yep. So you're gonna hit join. Okay.
What's going on?
Nothing. Quiet.
Why would you say that out loud?
You're right. Are you on?
I'm on, so.
Crime. Rescue. He dismissed the case yesterday. She and her. If she's getting close to the due date, Yeah.
So we have one more case this morning. That's it.
When you're done.
Get ready for tomorrow.
We don't have much tomorrow, really. I think Judge Lopez all tomorrow.
We have arraignments right now. Just waiting for Andy if something comes up other than that.
We need to get it down too. I think the departments are still not arresting people. Just writing them appearance tickets.
That's the new way we're supposed to be going. So they're encouraging that. I saw a thing yesterday that MSP is going to start doing crackdown on speeding. Next week sometime, I think, for like a week's time. So they've been letting people slide because of COVID. Officers not wanting to engage face to face and they're being discouraged. I think that now people are ready to get back to the highways have become super dangerous.
Oh.
The accidents, the shootings, the everything.
I'm gonna tell you, I see them every day when I go home from work, because I always take, 90 to Buffalo. And they are, and there's a going from lane to lane, 100 miles an hour.
We're driving sometimes, and I'll say to him, this is my speed, because I always set my cruise. And I said, look on your right or look on your left, and people are going by us at speeds that are just ridiculous, or they're cutting in narrow spots. I watched a couple motorcyclists do it on Sunday, and it scared me because they always say, watch out for us. but I'm watching you going in and out between cars. You have on no helmet, you have on no leathers, and you're wearing gym shoes.
Right.
And I'm thinking
And
to
shorts.
myself, are
You're
you
done.
crazy?
Yeah.
But, you know, I maintain my speed. I maintain my center lane. I use the fast lane for what it's for. I use the slow lane for what it's for.
You know what, I just found out this morning that, you know, that shooting in Brighton to where that 18-year-old kid shot and killed his dad.
Mm-hmm.
That guy was a Canton cop.
Mm-hmm.
I
They
didn't know
announced it
that.
on the news.
Yeah, I didn't know.
It is sad. And it is,
We're seeing a lot more of those.
it's a statement of where we are right now. And the question needs to be, what do we need to do to kind of get back on track with each other? Not things that are all that extreme, but just some more being kinder to one another.
Another thing too is that, you know, they got to start spending some money on giving these people some help
Mhm.
before this stuff.
Mhm.
I mean, there's probably, I would say, 60–70% of these shootings, all of the shootings were the people, if they would have had mental health treatment, it wouldn't happen. I don't think the idea is defund the police and, you know, send social workers, but I do think that we have to start opening these places back up. Like, look at Northville, how many people were in Northville,
Mhm.
and they just closed it down. And
Those
shelved
people
it.
went somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's some of what I'm talking about. That's your first cry for help is not shooting a family member. Something
Right.
else has happened.
Right.
And who was there to listen? And how responsible are we for one another?
Mhm.
But, you know,
I heard Van Buren backed off a little on the COVID thing.
don't go far.
Okay.
I don't know. I see some of these younger people, weirder, unusual cases, violent in a way I never would have thought of in my 20s. You know, just who's there for you? Who's holding your hand and hugging you? I mean, seriously, we laugh at the touchy-feely part of it. Yes, ma'am.
Can I go back in there, please?
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, do you hear me?
Hold on one second, Wadak. We're gonna go back in the room.
Don't go back yet. Give me 1 second, Ms. Fortier. This is 210446 SM. This is State of Michigan versus Eric Garduno. This matter was scheduled for arraignment and pretrial at 9 o'clock. It is now 10:07 by the court's clock. It appears that the defendant has failed to appear this morning. I've not seen anyone check in with the court under that name. Based on his failure to appear as scheduled, bench warrant shall issue
Thank you, Judge.
5,010%.
Judge,
Anything else?
Judge, I do think more and more when we do this docket, it's my understanding that some of these misdemeanors, they don't have.
I can't hear you.
These misdemeanors, they don't have like a court date before. So they're just getting mailed notice, and that's why these people are not showing up. So I don't know if there's a better system we could be using or what, because I just, you know, while I think a bench warrant is appropriate in a true KPS situation, I just.
Oh, wait. They mailed out a notice on June the 1st. So you're saying that the prosecutor is not requesting a bench warrant in this matter?
I am requesting a bench warrant.
Okay.
That is what our system is right now. What I'm simply saying is for judicial economy, I'm wondering if there's a conversation that could be had about a different way to do what we're doing.
Okay. The problem is my blower and your volume, but you're suggesting what's a better way?
It's my understanding on these misdemeanor DV cases. Okay. Judge, can we have
It got worse.
Can we have an off-the-record conversation after I get back?
Absolutely. Finish with your, did they leave?
No, I think they're in the breakout room.
Okay. Are you going back in the breakout with them?
Yes. I just need
We can talk about this way off the record. I'm going to log off the courtroom. Marianne's going to leave the Zoom open so you can keep talking to them. And Marianne, you can take us off of YouTube. We're done with our docket.
Okay, thank you, Judge.
Okay.
Thank you.